Increasing your contact rate, pickup rate, and answer rate is going to be the key to you consistently being able to hit 30, 40, 50, 60K months. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the top strategies that our agents are using and what we are seeing industry-wide to increase pickup rates and booked appointments. So as always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped 550 agents like yourself issue pay $4,000 per month. And we've also been able to help about 3 to 4 agencies get now past $1 million a month, and we're about to have our 5th. So super excited. But on this channel, I talk about the behaviors, tendencies, and tactics of those top individuals and agencies, what they're doing, and how you can go out and implement that as well. So let's hop right into the video. Okay, so today, I always do that. I'll go over here, my bad. So today I want to talk about the fundamentals of increasing contact rate. All right, and there's 3 key sections. Okay, number 1 is answer rate. And number 2 is appointment rate. And the third one is show rate. All right. Now, a lot of people try to base lead companies off of these. And I hate to say it, but that's not fair. It's not. And I'm not just saying that because I have a company. I think about myself. Like when I was an agent, I said this on the video and it really has hit me. I never complained about a lead. The only thing I complained about is that I wasn't willing to do the work that lead required for me to get the outcome. That's the reality. I'm not going to complain about the lead. I may complain about the fact that this lead requires me to do an input that I don't really want to do. And I think the reality is people know that, but they'd rather blame something else than look at themselves. Never once ever blamed a lead because it doesn't make sense. If the person filled the form out and you call them and they pick up, and if somebody else is working off the leads, you are just not doing something. Because as a business, the person who's selling you the leads, no matter where you buy them from, fresh, aged, doesn't make a difference. They need to have something predictable to be able to sell that lead. And they also had to come up with some sort of metric. People aren't just trying to do business by willy-nilly throwing out numbers. Now, some people are, but if they are, then you probably shouldn't be working with them. A credible, legitimate business where you've seen other agents consistently make money, not some random business that you're just trying out for the first time, but a consistent business. There are certain behaviors and tactics that those people are doing. Now, whether or not people want to say they're doing the tactics, I have agents who are like, yo, I'm dialing these leads. Okay. Right. And then I hop on Zoom and I dial their leads and I book 4 appointments. And I'm like, okay, you're not really working the leads properly. It's never the leads. It's never the leads. It is never the leads. I just want everybody to understand it is never the leads, right? It's always the agent, no matter what. And this is coming from somebody who sells leads. I'm being honest with you, right? I have people who buy our $1, $1.50, $2, 2.50 leads, $3 leads, $5 leads that absolutely crush it. And I have people who buy our $40 and $50 leads who don't do anything. So if the lead was actually the determining factor, wouldn't it make sense that if you bought better leads, you'd have a better outcome? That's what I explain to people. I'm like, if you bought better leads, would that not guarantee that you had a better outcome? It'd be like, yo, if I could just spend more, I could get a better result. It doesn't work like that. What you do when you buy better leads is you buy your time back. What does that mean? That means if you use these strategies I'm about to break down today, you actually get to get your time back by effectively working the leads. So rather than having to dial a bunch, you dial little. I think the reason why people have become more fascinated with aged leads is I've really thought through it, is that people don't volume begets luck, right? So if I say I get 100 leads, I could just run through them. And even if I'm not good, I don't work efficiently. It's funny because when I sold, aged leads were not a thing. You bought aged leads as a new agent to get yourself up and running and then grow. Now it's became a thing because people are like, they have dialers and stuff like that. And I get it. You can be very profitable if you do it the right way. But when you think about it from a long-term standpoint, right, it is not ideal to have people dialing for 12, 14 hours a day. And they're 20, 21, 23, 24, and they plan on doing that for what? How long? So unless you plan on constantly hiring a new wave and having them do that, but then at that point, you're just kind of like bringing people up to people to leave or to become agency owners or to just leave. So we'd be very, very interested to see the long-term effect. As somebody who even sells leads, I tell people like you should look at aged leads as a progressive track. All right. So let's get into the actual topic of the day, which is going to be answer rate. Okay. So we're going to start with answer rate in and of itself. All right. Now, to me, leads picking up has absolutely nothing to do with the leads. If it had to do with the leads, then that would say that once again, if I bought better leads, then more people would pick up. And that is not true. There are people who buy our leads, other leads that are really, really relatively, you know, higher priced, and they do not get more pickups. Why? Because the person who's calling does not know how to work the lead properly. Now, step one is all about working the lead. I've talked about this before, but if you are just calling leads one time, that makes no sense. Also, if you're not double dialing or triple dialing the lead, that also makes no sense. Now, the third thing is if you are not double dialing, triple dialing, and calling at different times, people are like, well, I called in the morning and the evening. Are you serious? You called it one time in the morning, one time in the evening. That's it. How about you call it 2 or 3 times in like morning gaps and then 2 or 3 times in the evening? See, people in their mind are like, well, I tried to call him and he didn't pick up. Are you serious? Especially with working class. That's my thing. When you do filing expense, okay, they're probably sitting around. When you do mortgage protection, IUL, and somebody's 40 years old, do you think that they're just sitting around waiting to pick up their call? I think that's why mortgage protection and IUL, specifically IUL, honestly, because a lot of younger demographic, is harder for people to work because they're lazy. See, if you had that dog, you had that mentality that said, you know what? I'm going to call this lead at 8. I'm going to then try to call him again at 8:45, and then I'm going to try to call him again at 9:15. That's a dial session in the morning. Calling somebody once in the morning is not a dial session. Especially if you have high intent leads. You got like 20 leads, bro. It doesn't take long to call through 20 leads. Call through 20 leads, take a break, go do something, come back, call through it again. You'd be surprised if you call somebody right now, they might not pick up. But if you call them in 30 minutes, they might pick up. Like, well, that's a lot. No, it's not. Because if you called me right now and I was taking out the garbage and my phone was inside, I missed it. But then if you call me again and I'm sitting there on the toilet, I might pick it up or I might not. Right. And then if you call me again, I'm actually sitting here on the couch. So there's a million things that could be going on. Like when you call people, you can't expect them to just, if they don't pick up, oh, I tried. It's like, they're not going to call you back. They don't know you. So I'm not just going to call back a random number and leave me a voicemail, whatever it may be. And I'm saying that to say that, like, that's number one. We're going to get into little tips and tricks, but like, if you're not calling enough in gaps, if, you know, call once in the afternoon, twice in the afternoon, you have to call these people. Like, this is work. It takes work. It's not like you just call them and everybody's just picking up exactly when you call because they were like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to pick up the phone call from, XYZ because I've been waiting all day for them to call me. Like, no, that's not how it works, especially if you get to them immediately. What's another thing is calling people the lead when it first comes in. Here's what that looks like. You're sitting here, lead comes in, you should stop everything you're doing and try to call that person right now. Even if you got to set an appointment. It's worth stopping whatever you're doing, unless it's like super, super important, obviously. But it's worth stopping what you're doing to call that lead. Because if you can get them to pick up, increase the closing rate drastically. Right? Now, I want to go into another point because this is where we're going to start getting more tactical. Right? That's going to be more like the answer rate 101. Okay. So that's just like literally, 101 and dialing. That's what we just went through. Okay. Now, the second phase to that is going to be FaceTime audio and video. Now, there are so many people that don't know that they're not doing this. This is like, they think that it's like, oh man, why would I? Whatever. Look, if you type a number in on your phone, you have an iPhone, you say that. You should have an iPhone. But you type a number in on your phone and it pops up blue, that means that that person has an iPhone, right? So that means that if you try to call it and it goes to voicemail or it gives you the do, you know what's funny? I have agents who have called and their number, it is a disconnected number. It's not disconnected, man. A lot of these services, they won't identify unknown callers. They have features on our phone that put unknown text messages in a certain place, unknown phone calls in a certain place. They're getting there's a lot more AI that's coming into it. There's a lot more technology that's coming into it that's stopping unknown callers from calling people because they know industries like ours, there's more and more agents, there's more and more people, so there's more and more people call. That's why if you use Go High Level, ADP, all these things, they're all tied together. It's not subtle nuance. It's not like, oh my goodness, nobody can pick up the phone. Every industry deals with that. Annuity, final expense, mortgage protection, IUL, high ticket sales, coaching, consulting. Everybody deals with it. So the question is, are we going to complain about it? Or are we going to figure something out? All right. So get an iPhone, number one. You text somebody or you start to text somebody. If it pops up blue, you're in the money. In my opinion, if I get somebody that has an iPhone, they're going to pick up eventually. It's just a matter of when they do. Now, when they don't, it's a little bit harder because there's not these workarounds. All right. So FaceTime audio. So the first thing I do is I'm going to try to call them regular. If I call and it's like basically a little please confirm or whatever, I'm going to transfer you. It's not a Google Voice. And they have an iPhone. I'm going to hang up and FaceTime audio them for my triple or double dial. Right? Let's say they don't pick up. I will try to FaceTime video them, that same person. So I'm going to call them 3, 4, 5 times. See, this is the thing, right? Like, if you think that's a lot and you're like, why do I have to do that? Then you don't have the right mindset from the beginning. You've already lost. What do you mean if you think it's a lot? This is what you have to do now. There is no more calling people and they just pick up willy nilly. With all these, please state your name so I can transfer. Do you think that people are going to answer the call now because of that? No. So you're going to have to FaceTime audio through that. You're going to have to FaceTime video. Oh, somebody's FaceTime video? I mean, who's this? Do you think that everybody else is doing that? Do you think every agent is doing that? Do you think a stranger, a spam caller is FaceTime videoing you? No, it's a real person. Pick up. You were like, well, that's weird. No, it's not. You don't want to get paid. You don't want to resolve the lead. You want to blame the leads. I think people want to always take the easy way out. They want to buy something and say it didn't work so they don't have to work and to make excuses. And they just want the easiest thing possible. And that's the problem. That's the issue. There's not a lead pickup issue. There's a you don't know how to work the lead properly, right? It applies for all industries. Doesn't matter if it's me and my business calling agents. Doesn't matter if it's you dialing leads. It doesn't matter if you're selling this, if you're selling that. It does not matter. Okay. You can't get anywhere until you understand this. This is a mental shift, right? So the person doesn't have an iPhone. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to have to go back to just hammering the phone. They got Google Voice. I'm going to have to text, right? The next thing is, okay. Now this is like a thing that people probably know, but they don't know. Okay. Now I don't love texting leads. But if for whatever reason they have a Android or they're like just banging my call, then what I'll do is I'll send an initial text. I'll be something like, "Hi, name Trey from ad page name," right? So by the way, guys, if you're working with companies and you don't even know like what the ad says, then like you can't really text somebody because you're just gonna be like, "You're looking for mortgage protection?" I mean, I guess, but it's kind of weird. I'd rather be super direct, like Trey from Instagram ad you filled out, right? For mortgage. Like something. Because what's gonna happen is when you text them, it's actually gonna say, hi, this may be Trey, or it'll say maybe, right? So you text them and then you do the same strategy that I just said. If you mix dialing at the right times, right? In the morning and in the evening, that does not mean double dial one time. That means work the lead in the morning and then work the lead in the evening and then work the lead in the middle of the day. People think that working the lead is just call, hang up. That's not working the lead. Working the lead is call. They're hanging up, FaceTime them, FaceTime audio them, figure out what's going on. If it's ringing and they're hanging up, that means that they see your call. So it's like, okay, you're banging my call. So now I have your attention. So now I have to do something. Maybe I text you and blah, blah, blah. Perfect. That doesn't work. I'm going to go back and try again in like 30, 45 minutes. I'm going to do that again, maybe another 15 minutes. So I'm going to work like 3 times within that 1 hour or 1 block, right? And then I come back and I can do something similar, but maybe less volume in the middle of the day, depending on my demographic. That I do something different in the evening. Those are our 3 blocks that we want to work through. And if we can work through those 3 blocks methodically, we can figure out exactly how to get in contact with the client, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is booked appointment rate. Now, I have a whole video on this, but I think that you not knowing how to tie down appointments is the reason why you're not booking a lot of appointments and you're really not getting anywhere with the people that you are, right? Because show rate to me is in 2 phases. It comes through the tie downs. To me, that's obviously the most important, but tie downs, and then in the pre-booking process. All right. So we're going to talk about the tie downs, booked appointment rate. Talking to John, breaking things down, tell John, hey, blah, 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 get to the point. By the way, you don't say, when are you available? You say, what time works better? Mornings or afternoons? Mornings, cool. I have an 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Which one of those works for you, John? 9 a.m. Or whatever. He doesn't say, hey, I don't have any of those times. Okay, cool, John. Super busy. We have a lot of people I have to get to, right? Typically in the morning, though, are you more like mid-morning, early morning, or like late morning? Which of those do you go into? Late morning. Perfect. John, I can squeeze you in. I have this appointment here and this appointment here. Is there any reason that we couldn't do like 11:15 Eastern Standard Time? Yeah, that will work. Perfect, John. Go ahead and grab a pen and paper, right? Cool, John. I blah blah blah. Cool. My name is Trey. Last name Tarpley. My producer number. So you're gonna need this. This is legally, so you know that I'm a licensed advisor. That's actually gonna be the one to make sure that I walk you to the end of this process, and I'm there in the event that something does happen. I'll be the one taking care of you and your family, right? They're like, oh, okay. It's like it's blah 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 blah. Perfect, right? And then I have us down. Sorry, I've been doing a lot. I apologize. What time did we say? It was 11:15. I'm doing that too because I want them to tell me what's happening. Oh, 11:15. Perfect, John. Cool. I got 11:15 on my time. Now, just to confirm, you said that your wife, she's also retired, so she'll be there as well, I'm assuming, correct? No. Okay, perfect, John. We have to make sure both of you guys are there. So let's reconfigure this. What time is she going to be available? Right. And now you start figuring because we don't want to do one leggers. Right now, somebody might disagree with me. They might have their process, but so whatever your upline is teaching you from closing standpoint, I'm just talking about from booking appointments. Get the person on the books, right? Then now you've confirmed the time. Now you go through and say, John, look, now like I said, I have a lot of people I need to get to. I know we're squeezing you at 11:15. Is there any reason, John, that wouldn't work? Like, do you have any doctor's appointment, anything coming up? He says no, or he says now he says so I hear and pay attention to that. So it's like I need to think about, is this worth me trying to push this in here, or do I need to pivot the time? Right. So I start asking more questions. This is all in the booked appointment process. Most people will say, yeah, just hit me in the morning. They're like, okay, cool, I'll call back in the morning. Like, bro, that's not a booked appointment. There's nothing about that should even be considered a booked appointment. I don't understand why you would think that. I don't understand why you think that would make sense, because it doesn't. It's like, all right, that's your process. Totally understand. So now you have that. Okay, so let's look at the time that you have them booked. Now, after they book, this is after you figured out the time, you've done all the tie downs. You can go back and watch my video where I explain that. I think it's called Booked Appointment to 40K or something like that. But I think it was like a week or so, 2 weeks ago. When you actually go ahead and book that person, now's when it's really on. So the tie down is from the moment that they say, yeah, let's set a time until you get off of the phone. You're just tying it down, and you should just do. You're just literally weaving through, trying to doing it as tight as possible. You're asking questions because questions create rapport. So you ask those questions that create rapport. Now all you have to do is say, hey, perfect, cool. I have all these things down. Cool. So I have now you've done all that. They're just writing. You don't even have anything on because you just displayed the concept of I'm meeting at 11:15 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow with your wife. All that's written down. You have my information. Now we need to actually put that into play. John, perfect. Now for this meeting, typically I meet with people on Zoom. Is there any reason that wouldn't work? Do you know, like, are you good with Zoom? Yeah, no. Okay, cool. Does that work? Perfect. Cool. No. I'd rather do phone. Or typically people meet with people on phone. Is that good? Start figuring out. Okay, so now you have location. We're going to be on the phone. We're going to be at 11:15. You have the people. You have location, people, what we're discussing. So service and packages, right? Which we'll come to in the next step. So after you figure out the location, you're going to confirm their address. I don't mean address. I mean like email address. If it was an actual appointment, you would still confirm their address. That's their email address. The other one is just their home address. Okay, so now you have their email address. Hey, John, so I have your email here as johndoe123@gmail.com. Is that correct? Perfect. Cool. So what I'm going to do, John, is I'm going to go ahead and send this over to you. But before we hop off the call, I need to make sure that you get it. Cool. I just sent the invite, John. Did you receive the invite? Yes. Perfect. John, so here's my number as well, just in case something happens. I'm just tying it down. John, here's my personal cell phone. You're going to get some automated text messages from a different number. Don't feel overwhelmed, John. Right? Blah, 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 blah. Cool, John, I'm going to text you in the morning. I'm tying it down. John, I'm going to text you in the morning to confirm that you're going to be there for the meeting, just because I do have a very busy schedule and they have me meeting with back-to-back people. Right. So in the event there's something you can't make it for whatever reason, I need you to text me back and let me know. Otherwise, I just need a quick little confirmation. Right. And I recorded a video yesterday. I think if I didn't, really simple. All I do when I confirm is just say, hi, name. This is name, confirming our meeting for today. That I don't say the time or anything because I let them tell me if they're interested. I let them tell me that they're going to show up theoretically, because they just say, wait, what time is it? Or, no, or I need to reschedule, you're going to know right then and there, because you're not giving them multiple choices. If you just say reply yes or something like that, it's like that's fine, but it's very vague and it doesn't give you what's really going on. You need to figure out what is really going on. Why are we really here? If we can figure that out, we're going to be able to help them out a lot more. And we're also going to be able to make sure that they show up to the appointment. All right. So it's a two-sided sword. That is how you book an appointment. All right. Now I want to go into what makes the people actually show. My bad, y'all. This light came in here. I go dungeon vibe real quick, y'all. That's great. There we go. Okay. So that was booked appointment rate. Now we're gonna talk about show rate. Now, to me, I already went into some of this with the booked appointment, but you say that on the call. Now, what you do is there's two ways that you're gonna have booked appointments come through to get them to show. One's gonna be a self book, and one's gonna be a manual book. Now, you should have to do little work on a manual book if you've tied things down, right? Because your only show is in the way you tie it down. Okay, so you book somebody, you tie it down, and then you text them the morning before confirming. Plus, you shouldn't be booking out like 3, 4, 5 days anyways, because they're not going to show. And if they do, it's very, very low, right? Now, self-book, this is where I want to get into because people get upset about this. They're like, well, this person booked on my calendar, but they didn't show up. It's like, okay, all right. Start from the top. Lead comes through. Okay, let me go widescreen. Lead comes through. Client filled out ad. After ad, they go to your booking link. They book. Now the person is booked. Today's Friday. They book for Monday. From Friday at 8:17 Eastern Standard Time to Monday at 6 o'clock at night, do you think through the weekend and everything that's going on that they are just going to show up with no text message, no response, no call, nothing? Yes, most people do. They're like, well, I would do it. It's like, first of all, you probably wouldn't. A lot of people say that. And then a lot of these agents and agency owners, they don't even show up for their own meetings, which is insane to me. And they don't even say anything. They just like ghost or they fill stuff out and they don't remember, which is really weird because you're the exact opposite of what you want from your clients. And according to me, that's a hypocrite, right? But neither here nor there. The way that I look at it is this. Okay. Client self-books for this example. We'll use John again. John self-books Monday, 6 o'clock. It's Friday, 8:18 was 17 Eastern Standard Time. If you don't say anything, most automation reminders go out 24, 12, 6, or 1 hour before. Even if you start sending drip messages, people know that that's an automated text, so they don't remember. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I live and die by my calendar, but I forget a lot of stuff. Like I don't even like I have to go in there every morning and look at it. So I'm pretty sure that if I fill something out on an ad and you don't talk to me at all, I'm probably not going to do it. But guess what? If the moment I fill it out, 5 minutes later, I get a text or a call. Hey, saw you booked in for Monday. I just want to touch base and say, first of all, I'm going to be the licensed advisor talking to you. I want to see if there's any details I could provide for you, any additional features, keys, anything like that. I would love to help you out. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Explain it. And then from there, all you have to do is let them know that you're going to be the person taking care of them. Now, there are two ways you can do this. Number one, you can text them the night before. The mentor, a lot of people do that. They'll call them when they book. If they don't pick up, what they'll do is they'll grab their phone and they'll record a quick video. Hey, John, I look forward to meeting you. My name's Trey. I'm actually going to be the licensed life insurance agent that's going to be taking care of you and your family. I have some of your details here. I'm super excited. I'm going to put together a game plan. We're going to get this taken care of. I'm going to make it smooth, easy, and straightforward for you. Look forward to talking on Monday. If you have any questions, this is my personal number. Just shoot me a text, okay? Boom, send it. Very short. People are lazy, though. They won't actually do that, right? On top of that, that's if they don't pick up. If they pick up, you just do exactly what I just said, but through call, right? You can also text them after you send the video. Hey, John, quick video. This is Trey from blah, blah, blah. Just wanted to let you know I look forward to meeting you. These are going to go alongside your automated text messages because you need one to feel like reminders. The only purpose for automated messages is not for them to think that it's a person. It doesn't make them show up. It's just mental reminders. What makes them stick and actually show, right? Those are reminders. What makes them show is going to be the personalized touch. That's why people's show rate is so bad because they just book it and don't talk to the person ever. And they book it for, oh yeah, we'll meet on Monday, and they think that they're just going to show up. It's like, bro, you don't do that. So you have this unrealistic expectation for them that you can't hold for yourself. So you're like, well, I would do it. It's like, well, you probably wouldn't. You're saying that, but it sounds good, but you probably wouldn't, right? And I think it's super important for you to understand that expectation is like, that's why people don't show. Like when people don't show my appointments, I know it's because I didn't do a good job in following up with them or texting them. I waited too long. I didn't say anything at all, right? But if you're an agent, this is all you're doing. There's no reason that you like shouldn't be sending. I don't get it. Like actually, personally, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I hope that helps. I really wanted to go more high level today, and I mean more tactical. I apologize, and really go through like the differences because this is something that even like my clients struggle with, and we give them all this information. Like we tell them, I'm like, at the end of the day, Like these are on you. This has nothing to do with the lead. Like, oh, these leads aren't good because they don't show up. Bro, what? The dude picked up the phone, knew what it was, and you booked an appointment and you're blaming the lead because he didn't show. That sounds insane. If people pick it up and they know what it is, that's not a lead problem. There's nothing about this lead problem that you don't know how to work the lead properly. That's literally it. You can't expect to get a demographic from ads that's not a demographic from ads, because it's like, it's funny because a lot of the people that book and fill out forms that are agents from ads, they typically are a little bit different than like the traditional agent who doesn't see an ad and fill it out. Those people, like, they're gonna show up to the meeting, they'll be there on time. If you send them the invoice, they're gonna pay. Like, the people that are filling out a bunch of ads, like, they're trying things out. They are respectfully no different than like the clients. They're just like, I'm not feeling stock, and I'm not saying that to be prideful or arrogant, but it's like, I just know what I want and how I want to get it, and I'm like gonna do whatever it takes. So like, seeing an ad would be cool, and if that was the only way I could book, then yes, I guess. But I would just find a roundabout way to go book an appointment and just pay. Because like, I just want to go ask my questions. I don't really want to go through a funnel. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, when I evaluate something, I'm just like, hey, this is what I want to do. Doesn't matter what it costs. I'm going to do it. If I have to put it on a credit card, I'm going to figure it out, because I'm not paying for something to try it. I'm paying for something because I know that this person can give me the result, because I'm doing research before I hop on the call. Every mentor I've ever had, when I got on the call, I was paying something. There was no like, well, maybe it was just a matter of like, if I had all the money or if I didn't. If I didn't, I just got put on a payment plan. But like, there was no closing me. Like, I'm the most closable person if I get on a call, because at the end of the day, I know what I want. Like, I know what I'm looking for. I'm very direct about it. Like, this is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. If I can find somebody that I believe can give me that result, then they just have my money. And I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to be like, hey, tell me what to do, and I'll leave you alone. It's really, really simple. So, and everybody doesn't think like that. People want to buy leads that think like that, but that's not how leads work, because those people aren't filling out forms. So if you want that type of clientele, you need to just go work, warm market, and referrals. And that's not the truth. So that means that you need to learn these skills and you need to stop complaining and do whatever it takes to actually get the desired result. If you don't do that, then it doesn't matter. So as always, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're an individual agent looking for premium leads, look no further, go to leadlabcrm.com. We also have age leads. Once again, if you do age leads, we're going to start doing progression caps. That's how I see it. Like, you're going to cap out a certain amount and you need to progress, because I'm not doing you justice by constantly selling you age leads over and over and over again. It makes no sense. You're not actually progressing, and it's like a waste of both of our time. You need to get to the point where we start progressing. Point blank, period. Buying age leads just to say I'm going to buy age leads forever, unless you're buying them for your agents, which most people aren't, they're buying them for themselves. You need to get out of that, right? Like, you need to get out of that. You need to get into fresh leads, because at the end of the day, that's how you scale. That's how you run a business. You don't run a business off buying other people's old data. Like, you just don't do that. You run a business by spending money on marketing, getting fresh data, and closing leads, and having margins and growing a business. That's how you grow a bit. It's like, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. But neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I'm not talking about how you make money. I'm talking about how you grow a business. Okay. I'm not saying they can't even be volume if they're cheap. If they're still real time, it doesn't matter. You have a predictable input output. Buying age leads is not a predictable input output. I'm sorry I'm harping on this, but I really want you all to take that away from this, so that way you guys can grow and scale in the way that you want to. Right? So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.